Welcome, I'm Sherry Truhlar with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you for joining me on today's video where I'm going to be clarifying up some terms that we are using around the information that we're handing out to guests. It might be called a catalog, a program, an addendum. What's an ad book? I've heard an ad book. There's so many different terms that we use in auctions. It can be very confusing, not just to auction planners, but even to guests as to what you are referring to. And so what I thought I would do today is to share with you from some of my past clients examples of what is a catalog versus a program, what's a program versus an ad book, and so forth, so that you can get a sense of what might work for you. Now certainly if you're a new auction chair and you don't have anything to go on, you're going to have to create something from scratch. So that's great that you're going to get some sense of what's out there. But if you have been using something that your school or nonprofit has been running with for a while, maybe you'll get some new ideas to be inspired as well. Okay, so first off, what I want to do is show you what is perhaps the most basic, and that's what we call a combined program catalog. And in this case, we have information about the items. We may have the auction rules listed in there, but we also have programmatic elements, like there's a timeline, maybe a menu, there's information about the awardees, honorees, and so forth. Here's an example of this. This is a hospice organization that I worked with. And I'm going to put this in front of the camera so you can see right there. Hopefully that comes through. It says Program and Auction Catalog right there. And that's what we've got inside. Ads, information on awardees, the evening program, information on live auction items, all of that's combined. Similar combined program catalog. Here's an event that I worked with in Florida. They have photos of the live auction items, information about me, the auctioneer, what we're going to be selling, live auction rules, but they also have listed donors for the silent auction. That's kind of a catalog thing. But look, sponsors, that's more of a program thing, not a catalog thing. Oh, there we go. We've got events that they run throughout the community with some great photos in here as well. An area to take notes, the board officers, board members. So all of that's in there. Truly the mark of a combined program and catalog right there. And the final one I'll show you is from a disease organization. This was an event I worked in Chicago earlier this year. Yet again, a different style. In this case, they didn't have a live auction. They had a silent auction, a couple of raffles, and what we call a fund-a-need. And if you don't know what that is, you can search my website and get more information. But what, maybe 14 pages here, not very long. We've got sponsors listed, a bit about the timeline, what's going to happen tonight, information on the raffle prizes and silent auction tips, volunteers, and the Fundacure, talking about that. Combined program and catalog. Let's look at something a little different now. Let's split it up. So instead of combine, what can we do that splits it up? Here's a nonprofit that I've worked with for a few years. They've got about up to 1,500 people that will come to their event. And it's a nice glossy catalog. Tons of information in here. They do a really nice job with their catalog. Certainly there's a lot of ads because they do have a strong sponsorship program. They've got information as well on the nonprofit, some of the successes they've had, statistics and so forth. It's an educational piece. So they not only have information on the nonprofit, but they've got information on the sponsors in here. Now to go along with this is a catalog, but look at what they did with their catalog. It is a fold out. Look at that. And so the live auction items are described in here, whereas the programmatic elements are described in here. Two different pieces tucked into the other. Now let's go to another style. This is with a school, and they use what's called a preview catalog. A preview catalog is something that is sent out in advance to the guests that are going to be there. It might be sent out 2 weeks in advance to 4 weeks in advance, highlighting items that are going to be in the auction. So here's their preview catalog. In fact, they say it right up here, preview catalog. And inside we've got rules on the auction. We talk about the silent auction in detail. We talk about the live auction items in detail. They even have bid forms in here so that if you're not going to be attending the gala but you want to be able to bid on items, you fill out your absentee bid forms and get that information to them. So this is sent out to the guests in advance, but the guests who come to the event that night are also given this, which is a combined program catalog, but it's much more catalog than it is program. Once again, we've got live auction items written out in detail here. Silent auction items are not put into detail here. This is focused on the live, but we do have some information that's programmatic, for instance, the timeline and a listing of the sponsors. So that's a preview catalog with a program catalog. Another event, this is a school that focuses on autism. They have a beautiful catalog that they pull together. This is mailed out 3 to 4 weeks in advance to all of their guests, over 500. It includes ads, it includes thorough descriptions on both silent auction items and live auction items, and it may include some information about sponsors a little bit. It's got some, no timeline, more about a little bit about the school. So it's got that in there too. So they're educating about the school and the items. But when they arrive that night, they may be given this, an addendum. So anybody who came in last, maybe they didn't make the catalog deadline, it was a sponsor, it was a donation, whatever the case might be, that is included in here along with the repeat of the sponsors. So it's not just like the sponsors who get their money in on time are in this catalog but not this one, they're actually in both. That's why, in part, this is a little bit thicker of an addendum than what you might see with most addendums that you would come across in your own auctions. Final example I'd like to share, this is another school up in Pennsylvania. They do something called an ad book. And the ad book is not just for businesses, however. It's a full color, beautiful book. I'm going to show it to you in just a moment. It almost looks like a yearbook. And the people who buy ads could be businesses. You would see traditional ads in that sense. But you're also going to see ads from grandparents. Grandparents can buy space in the book and include a note to their grandson to say, "Way to go, we're so proud of you at the school." You'll see parents who will buy full-page ads and put their children's photo on the ad and then say, "We want to thank the teacher of the 5th grade because she's doing a super job with our son." You'll see sports teams that will buy ads. So the lacrosse team or the swim team have team photos and they've bought an ad for the ad book to go inside that. And of course then you've got the class photos as well that are in there. So this is what that looks like. Look at how thick that is. And this ad book is sent out in advance to the guests. There's nothing in here at all about items, nothing at all. It is something though that is saved more like a yearbook. You look through it, you read what people wrote and so forth, and that is a money maker for them. They're selling space in the ad book. For the on-site piece to educate the guests about what's going to be sold that night is this. Just a very simple Xerox copy, 3 pages long. It's got live auction descriptions in it. Look at that. Nice descriptions. They're in detail, but nothing like the ad book. You know, it's not anything as glorious as the ad book, but it gets the job done. It gets the job done. So that's my point, is that you've got to figure out what's going to work for you. You want to be able to get information into your guests' hands. The sharper, the more educated the bidders are about what you have to sell, the better they're going to bid. Don't keep anything in the dark. Don't try to surprise your guests. You really want them to be well informed. If you think about yourself, don't you feel better making particularly a large purchase if you feel like you really understand the deal, you really understand what you're getting? Same is true with your auction buyers. So if you're disappointed in the quality because it's only going to be run off on a Xerox, I'd much rather have you do that and make sure that the guests feel comfortable bidding than to not want to put anything in front of them unless it has a certain look and feel to it. It's not necessary. Let's get them what they need, and we'll worry about making it look pretty the next year. There will be time for that when we can plan a little bit better. So with that, one suggestion I might have is if you like the idea of looking through catalogs to get ideas, you can pop over to the website that is on the screen right now, redappleauctions.com/auction-catalogs. I don't always have catalogs for sale, but if they are available, then you'll be able to purchase a set of catalogs. The ones that I just showed you are ones that I pulled out of my permanent files, but the ones that I send along are usually in the last 2 years, and it's just extra inventory that I have, and it's a way for you to take a look and get some ideas of what other people are doing. That's one way to get some ideas for how you might want to change your event. And then finally, if you're just getting started, this is an excellent program for you. I call it Easy First Auctions, and this is where you learn what you should spend your time doing in order to make money in an auction. I would say that this program is perfect if you've been languishing around $5,000, $10, $15, $20, probably anything 20 and under, 25 and under is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck from this program, because this is where you learn, look, this is where you make the most money, this is where you don't, this is how you can adapt it, this is the easiest money to collect versus doing that, with some really great case studies teaching you how to enhance your event if you've been stuck and thinking, gosh, we're spending an awful lot of time to raise not that much money. So that's another resource that you can look at to get better about planning an event. With that, we'll go ahead and wrap up. My name is Sherry, again, with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you for joining me. And as always, good luck to you in your benefit auction.